Minyum or Bumskee. What I will be doing today, kind of collecting a bunch of reference images of their work, taking their pieces, kind of replicating them to see if I can take little elements and to apply it into my own work. So what better way to do so than take a deep dive into their socials and kind of learn their process. What I'll be doing is I'll go to their Twitter and I'll pick out a couple images that I like, specifically these posts. Then I'll share with you what I learned. Bumskee is a concept and illustration artist based out of Seoul, Korea. So I stumbled upon their work on Twitter and instantly fell in love with their use of colors and art style, focusing a lot on analogous colors and I have to look it up. Analogous. Basically, it's part of the color theory. It's taking through relatively close colors on the RGB wheel, and that's all there is to it. I may be an artist, but my knowledge of artistic terms are very mid at most. I just put art on a blank canvas and call it good at the end of the day. So as I prepare, let me introduce you to today's candidates. These are going to be the first two pieces. Environments done by Min. Then the third is going to be my own take on what I learned in the process. Now, I started off pretty confident. I was confident to the point to where I decided to put everything on one layer. That was my first mistake. It's because I didn't take into account of the amount of shape work I'm going to have to do with these pieces. So there was a lot of the lasso tool involved. And like going into this piece, I wasn't aware of the amount of time and effort this was going to take. Because knowing myself, I could just put a few colors down and throw a few shapes together and then refine it as I go along. But as I inspect more and more with Min's work, there's just so much intricate details and shapes. It was just that meme of like, you know, damn, this art got hands. And to keep myself sane, I had to simplify the piece as best as possible. Just using the round brush to blend the shapes together and just keep simple form going, just to keep it consistent. Before I show you the finished product, I want to let you know I have a Patreon. More information at the end of the video. Thank you. And I present you Study 1 completed. This one was definitely screaming.
She wasn't ready!
But oh, was I optimistic. The colors, everything was really well put together. With an hour and 38 minutes, not bad. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. We start off with Study 2 by priming my canvas. I got my shapes down and my colors. At this point, I was developing a pretty good workflow, realizing that Min messed with a lot with colors and a lot of sharp shapes. Starting off, I had a lot of fun with this piece. I spent the next 30 minutes color blocking. Whew, boy, I was getting it too. It's just moving along, putting colors down left and right. And I think my biggest upside is I had to pay attention to how well this piece was structured. Min has a really good eye at planes and perspective, so I wanted to reflect that as best as possible. And when there's planes and perspective involved, there's also light. Light, there's colors. So you gotta learn how the colors interact with the direction of the light coming in.
This piece kicked my butt. I have a lot more respect for concept artists and environmental artists because there's so much work that goes into this. And I was really proud of the turnout. And Min, girl, I respect you. I respect your patience. Because this was something and I had a lot of fun. And don't forget to follow Min's work. With this, it brings me to a grand total of 3 hours and 10 minutes. Pain. And let me introduce you to study number 3. I started this piece off pretty normally. I used an image that I took and went ahead and did some color corrections. Then I went ahead and sketched out the subject of my piece. That way I can start priming my canvas down for some flat colors. I really wanted to challenge myself by eyeballing my reference piece and putting down the colors that I think would work. And like I mentioned before, light plays a big factor, especially with this environment, how it's coming in through the window. There's a lot of bounce light going on. So I made sure to portray that as best as I can in the reflective surface of the refrigerator. And to be honest, I had no idea what I was doing, but I did the same exact thing for the dog's water bowl. And I made sure to go back and render out the details a little more because of the ambient light. There's a lot of light coming in and there's a lot of light bouncing out. So I wanted to show that in the ceramic surface of the white bowl. Next was the plant. I started working on where the shadows and the light would hit coming through the window and how it would bend with the way the leaves were shaped. Shocker! I ended up changing the colors of the plant because I felt like it was too flat in the environment. And lastly, my attention was drawn outside the window. From what I remember studying Min's work, I need to keep my shape simple and keep perspective in mind. And I present to you a total of 6 hours of study time on this piece. Overall, I was pretty happy with the outcome of these pieces. I feel like my biggest issue was the amount of time I took for each study. Generally, I'm a more slower paced kind of person, so taking in information and producing results takes a lot for me. But once the information clicks, I can finally start picking up the pace. Now, if I had some advice to offer, I'd advise you to have a clear objective of what you want to learn from the artists you admire. Next, please be patient with yourself. You're never going to get it on the first try. A lot of beginner artists really struggle with this and they think, oh, I gotta get it. No. If you get it on the first try, you're a robot and you don't belong in this plane of existence. And the last thing I recommend is take notes. See things where you fell short and what you want to improve on.
And hello, if you're still here, please go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of video. So if you're interested in supporting me, I'd like to talk about my Patreon. So I ended up creating 2 tiers, and I feel like I'm pretty content with them at the time. One is the Gold Peach, and then one is the Obsidian Peach tier. The Gold Peach is a support tier, to throw your name in the credits to show your support. So the same goes with the Obsidian Peach, except with this tier, I wanted to create you a personal icon to throw next to your name. So I wanted to do something cool for early supporters. For the first 10 people who either decide to sign up for the Gold Peach or the Obsidian Peach, I'd like to permanently show you off as an early supporter to my channel. That being said, if you like what I do, you can go ahead and follow me on my Instagram and Twitter. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.